So now for something, so we're going to go from trees to, or not even trees, grass, to toothpaste tubes. So I'll confess, I just confessed backstage, I'll tell you again. When we first were planning this panel and I read through some of your announcements and I saw this thing about a recyclable toothpaste tube, I thought, who cares about toothpaste tubes? Like we're here to change the world and fight climate change. And then we got on a call, and you said how many toothpaste tubes the company produces. And I was like, okay, I don't know what I'm talking about. This actually makes a lot of sense, and I need to listen more and speak less. So tell us a little bit about like the toothpaste tube, the volume, the scale, and the solutions that you're working on.
Okay, sure. Thanks. And I'm really pleased to be here and tell our tube story, as we call it. So Colgate-Palmolive, you've probably heard of Colgate, and yes, oral care is the biggest piece of our business. We also make personal care, home care, and pet care. We own Hill's Science Diet. But because we're the world's leader of oral health, and if I have my statistics right, at least half of you brushed your teeth with Colgate this morning. Raise your hands. So we sell half the world's toothpaste, and the world uses about 20 billion toothpaste tubes a year. And there's still a lot more to go because many parts of the world aren't brushing their teeth as much. In fact, in the US, we don't brush our teeth as much as we should. Brazil is the #1 country. They brush 3 times a day. Little factoids. So we know a lot about toothpaste, right? So we sell between 9 to 10 billion tubes of toothpaste a year. And we said, so I want to just pivot for a quick second and tell you a little bit about how we think of sustainability. We call it sustainability and social impact. We have 3 ambition pillars: driving social impact, helping millions of homes, and preserving our environment. And there's 11 actions and 50 targets that sit underneath. But we have to do a lot of stuff. Companies like us have to do a lot of things to protect against reputational risk, taxes, regulations that are coming. But there's certain places we want to lead, and we call those our swords. Shields are where we have to just get the job done. Swords are where we want to lead. And because we're the oral health leaders of the world, we said, okay, plastic waste, and namely tubes, is something we need to lead with. We need to go first. So we started that journey back in 2015, actually. And like you said, oh, how hard can it be? Just make the tube recyclable. It took us 3 to 4 years to get the engineering right. And what we did was we said, okay, to make it recyclable, it has to be made out of a mono-material plastic, and we wanted it to be a plastic that is already readily recyclable in today's infrastructure. So we chose number 2, which is HDPE, which is like your milk jug or your fabric softener bottle. It's the opaque, rigid plastic. And so that's what we started with. And the journeys continued through there. It was hard to get that rigid plastic to feel like a tube. Oh, I wanted to tell you, the old tube had multi-layers of different types of plastic. And the reason when you used to squeeze your old tube and it would have memory, was because there was aluminum in there. That's not recyclable. That contaminates the recycling stream. So we had to get rid of the aluminum, move to one type of plastic. So I'm going to stop for a minute, let you continue from there.
Yeah, and as we were talking about it, it occurred to me, like, I have never recycled a tube of toothpaste. It never even occurred to me to try to do it. And I think part of the problem is that, like, there's no recycling bin in my bathroom.
It's a good point.
And so, like, is that something we're going to need to start to think about going forward?
So we're a consumer products company, and our products, whether it's toothpaste tubes, soap, body wash, laundry, fabric softener, these are products that people use. They're habit-forming products that you don't even think about typically, right? So you don't think about them every day. You don't want to think about them. You want quality, you want convenience, and you want the right price. And then you take it home and use it. So we have a role to play when we market and communicate to consumers to help them begin to understand and think about these things. And it's hard to change consumers' habits, like you said. to remember to take it from the bathroom to wherever your recycling bin is, because typically you don't have one in your bathroom.
So you developed this tube, this technology. At what stage of the rollout are you?
So to continue that story, we took by 2019 we had perfected what we want, and we didn't develop the tube in a vacuum. We communicated and worked alongside the Association for Plastic Recyclers and other external experts to make sure that we were building a tube that actually would be capable of being recycled at the time. And we got the tube to where we wanted in 2019. The other interesting thing about us is we make our own, most of our tubes we make ourselves, so we had to then convert all the equipment. We had to convert the equipment that makes the laminate, which is the actual material. We had to convert the tube formers. We had to convert the fillers. So that was a big process. And we mapped out, because we have production all over the world, and the goal was to get it done by 2025. And we're a little bit ahead of schedule. Even during COVID, we were able to make it happen. But we'll have converted everything by 2025. We started in the US and Europe because the infrastructure is already there, but we're rolling it across all our other divisions right now.
And that you have this technology, you've got the state-of-the-art, best tube on the market, and then you gave it to your competitors?
So then the next step was, in order to ensure that toothpaste tubes, whether it's Colgate's or anybody else's toothpaste tube, that they all get recycled and that we scale quickly. It wouldn't do, and rightly so, the material recycling facilities, or the MRFs, said, we can't sort by brand, guys. Of course you can't. So in order to scale quickly, we decided to share the technology. So we shared it with over 70 different venues or companies, and we're really pleased because all the other major toothpaste manufacturers have come along and made the same commitment to move to HDPE tubes by 2025.
So what is the process going to be once, how are you going to try and educate consumers and get me to carry my toothpaste tube downstairs to my recycling bin?
So before we even get to that, there's a huge process, and we're in the middle of this right now too. And we have to do this in every country, and we're in over 200 countries we sell our products. We have to go down almost to the community or municipality level to start to educate the recycling infrastructure to make sure first that they understand that these new tubes are coming, that they are recyclable, and what's going on with the other major manufacturers. We actually work with a third-party independent group that is volunteered to monitor, because we can't go knock on Procter's doors and say, are you done yet? That's not gonna fly. But this third party is kind of monitoring globally the status of the conversion. So that's been tremendously helpful. So this is kind of where we're at. We're educating the recycling infrastructure. Once we reach critical mass, which is very soon, then we can start really leaning into talking to the consumer more actively and telling them you can take it when you're done and put it in the bin.
So this is obviously one part of your overall sustainability strategy. It's a great example because everybody's held a tube of toothpaste in their hand this morning. But how does it fit into sort of the larger goals for the company?
Yeah, so if you recall, I mentioned the 3 ambitions, 11 actions, and 50 targets, and I called it our swords, we're really leaning heavily into eliminating plastic waste is the name of the action. So not only making all our packaging recyclable, but actually reducing the amount of plastic we use. We have a target to reduce the amount of plastic that we use by 1/3 by 2025. So we're working on that. And then we also are leaning into climate. Our action is called Accelerating Action on Climate Change as a sword. And then a third sword we have is around educating children globally on oral health in underserved communities. But the climate aspect is important. We didn't realize this when we made the tube, but after doing a lot of analysis afterwards, we found out that to make this new tube to produce the tube is over 25% less carbon requires in our manufacturing processes, as well as 40% less water. So it's a more recyclable, it's more carbon benefit for it. It contributes to our climate targets.
So probably it costs money to develop it and in the research and development, but then over time you're going to have long-term benefits by reducing your input costs.
Yeah, and overall, yeah, and it also helps us when it comes to extended producer responsibility fees, reduces taxes and fees that companies have to pay for the amount of plastic they use.
Is that an IRA spinoff, or is that?
Early days on that for us. We're trying to better understand and sort through that. We hope there is, but I mean, those are positive. You know, every time we talk about the topic of sustainability and companies doing the right thing and moving in the right direction, it's a carrot and stick thing. I think carrots work better, and that's certainly a carrot.
Were there any learnings from developing this tube that you'll be able to carry over into your other product lines?
Yeah, yep.
You want to tell us which ones first?
Well,
or types of products as opposed to specific
yeah, I
brands?
mean, exactly. We do have this commitment to make all our packaging recyclable. Maybe because it is a sword, we have a packaging strategy. So we have pillars of what we have to go get done. There's no silver bullet, because one of the things we're doing, for instance, is we're changing the way we deliver our products. So maybe that means concentrating. So we just launched not long ago, we own the brand Hello, and we launched a really cute concentrated mouthwash. It's really small. It uses significantly less plastic, and it comes with a little cup, and you just spray however much you want into it, add your own water. So we're not shipping water, so that's a good thing. So that's an interesting example. We've also made toothpaste chewable tabs. Most people don't like them, but well, I shouldn't say that. It's probably a bad thing to say. But we don't foresee a day when everybody moves away from paste to tabs, at least not anytime soon.
That's fair.
So we're looking at new and different ways. We're looking at new materials, fiber maybe. We're looking at, just generally speaking, taking water out of our products.
Yeah, that's such a basic innovation that was right in front of us for so many years. And you see it with detergents many times, where there's just no reason to water these things down and then pay for all those shipping costs and raise, you just got to re-educate the consumer a little bit that you don't have to use as much.
But I did want to raise that point because I said it in the beginning that these are habit-forming kind of products. It actually is a big challenge. We call it the consumer intention action gap. And there's all kinds of statistics out there. We work closely with Kantar. Kantar did a study, and I won't get my numbers exactly right, but something like 96% of the people, when asked, would you buy more sustainable products? Do you want to live more sustainably? Yes, of course. But then when they actually go to do it, it's only 16%. That's a big gap.
Yeah.
So we have to, our job is to close that gap and help. And I think, that's up to us to make products that are, again, convenient, the right quality, the right price, and they're nice to use. People want to use them. Like one of my favorite examples that I use sometimes is SodaStream, which is you're not shipping water. You can customize your own soda at home. People love it, but it's a very sustainable proposition versus going and buying it in the store, right?
Yeah. So, until the canister return machine is broken and you can't get it back.
Yeah.
That happens a lot.
Yeah.
I know this from experience.
Yes, my husband too.
And thank you so much for joining us today. I think it's a great anecdote, and I wish you well in your work.
Thank you.
Thank you.